Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Miami-Dade's first urban forestry plan puts trees at the center of battle against heat. The Miami Heat did not get their name from nowhere. But lately, that heat is starting to feel unbearable, as South Florida is hit by repeated heat advisories with few days of relief. Study after study shows that South Florida is only going to get hotter in the coming years due to climate change, and it's become a top priority of the administration of Miami-Dade Mayor Daniela Levine Cava to try to do something about it. The county was the first in the nation to create the role of a chief heat officer to coordinate efforts to combat extreme heat. An official heat season has been declared from May through October. Public facilities are being opened to the public as cooling sites during extreme heat incidents. In many ways, the main pillar of the effort to combat extreme heat is an ambitious goal of covering 30% of the surface area of the county with tree canopy, since that canopy significantly reduces surface temperatures. Technically, that has been the goal of the county government since 2006, a year after Hurricane Wilma and Hurricane Katrina devastated the existing tree canopy in the county. But now for the first time, the county has rolled out a comprehensive Miami-Dade urban forestry draft plan that will tackle these efforts across departments and across the county. The draft plan is open for feedback from the public until August 26. After that, the plan will be finalized. WLRN recently spoke with Chief Heat Officer Jane Gilbert about the plan and what it means for the future of the county. "We need to start treating trees as the critical infrastructure that they are," she said. Gilbert, there are multiple reasons for both preserving and enhancing our tree canopy, especially in the areas where we currently have very low tree canopy or less than 20%. My initial purpose is around mitigating urban heat islands. We know the areas with low tree canopy and higher land surface temperatures are also the areas where we have very high rates of heat-related emergency department visits and hospitalizations to the tune of 4 times the rates of zip codes with high tree canopy. So that's the first reason, is mitigating our urban heat islands. We know that trees are the greatest tool we have for keeping Miami-Dade cool. And if we do achieve our goals, we could actually maintain our current overall temperatures into the mid-century, which is remarkable. That's new research that's been coming out, but it's really remarkable what we can do with trees. But the benefits of trees go far beyond just heat mitigation. They are great defenses for absorbing stormwater and making us more flood resilient. They filter that stormwater to protect our bay and the quality of our water. They provide habitat to birds and all sorts of animals, they beautify a neighborhood and increase property values and improve air quality. So there are many reasons that we want to double down on planting more trees. They're in Hialeah, Miami Gardens, Brownsville, some parts of South Dade. Those are areas that have historically had very low tree canopy and generally higher than average poverty rates. And so we're also doing this to lower the social determinants of health in those areas. The industrialized areas are definitely a challenge. However, certain areas in Doral that are very heavy with warehouses have started to plant more trees and see the benefits of that. Some of the areas are neighborhoods, single-family neighborhoods. But they're small lots with not as much right-of-way necessarily, so it will be challenging to site trees in these areas. Luckily, the county was able to successfully secure a $10 million grant from the U.S. Forest Service for planting street trees in these neighborhoods. We are hiring up now outreach staff to help, because it's going to take that kind of direct outreach to property owners to make sure people are on board with having the right trees in the right place and will support those trees going forward. Miami Heat returned to familiar ground in latest Eastern Conference ranking. Avoiding the play-in tournament feels like nothing more than a dream for the Miami Heat this season. Not only is the Eastern Conference the best it's been in years, but the Heat's health concerns are glaring. The Philadelphia 76ers and New York made serious acquisitions, while the Indiana Pacers, Milwaukee Bucks, Cleveland Cavaliers, and Orlando Magic locked down their cores. The majority of these teams, along with the reigning champion Boston Celtics, will likely claim a spot in the postseason, leaving the Heat to once again battle for their slot, as ESPN recently predicted. The Heat, eliminated by the Celtics in the first round last season after reaching the NBA Finals the year prior, are projected to finish 8th in the standings, the staff wrote. A spot familiar to Jimmy Butler and company after finishing their 2 years straight. The Pacers, Atlanta Hawks, and Chicago Bulls are projected to join the Heat in the play-in. This group of teams shouldn't strike fear into the Heat, as the Bulls are kicking off a rebuild while the Hawks look to regroup with Trae Young at the helm. Coach Erik Spoelstra is set on the path to landing the number 8 seed for a third consecutive year. NBA insider, Miami Heat unlikely to show interest in Brandon Ingram amid trade rumors. The Miami Heat likely won't go after New Orleans Pelicans star Brandon Ingram this offseason, according to Anthony Slater of The Athletic. Slater wrote that he would not expect the Miami Heat to show interest if Ingram entered the trade market before the final season of his current contract with New Orleans. The Miami Heat are still expected to be aggressive this offseason. Ingram averaged 20.8 points, 5.1 rebounds, and 5.7 assists in 64 games for the Pelicans last season. NBA insider Mark Stein previously named the Philadelphia 76ers, Cleveland Cavaliers, Atlanta Hawks, and Orlando Magic as possible trade destinations if the Pelicans decide to trade him this summer. Stein reported earlier this month that the Pelicans' decision to trade Ingram is increasingly being viewed by many league observers as an inevitability rather than a possibility. Ingram is still under contract with a $36 million salary cap hit for the next season, making Trey Murphy's $5.2 million option a much more affordable option for the Pelicans' wing next season. New Orleans is also concerned about how Ingram fits with C.J. McCollum and Zion Williamson, Stein reported. Ingram had his healthiest regular season campaign since his rookie year in 2016-17, shooting a career-best 49.2% from the field, although his trade value may have been impacted by his playoff performance, as the Pelicans were swept by the Oklahoma City Thunder. However, he has previously been touted as a potential option for the Miami Heat next season. Tim Kawakami reported to The Athletic last week that Ingram is the right age and the right type of player for the Miami Heat, but it may be too much for the Miami Heat to overcome everyone else. Another obstacle for the Miami Heat is that anyone who gives up assets for Ingram will likely want to have a long-term deal immediately in place. Without a new contract, Ingram would be set to become an unrestricted free agent in the summer of 2025, and the Pelicans' price will likely be too high for him. A short-term rental. Ingram is eligible for an extension of up to 4 years, $208 million this summer. That could be too much of a cost for the Miami Heat after the owner said the team's plan is to avoid the tax luxury if possible in 2024-25, so they may need to look elsewhere to boost the team's offense this summer. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Brandon Ingram? Leave your opinion in the comments.